Hey everybody, I'm joined by Al Tomechko. He's the owner of Vitalize Seed, also longtime friend of mine. We do a lot of work together on habitat projects. Just wanted to invite Al on and explain kind of some timely information for spring of 2024, what Vitalize has to offer and kind of what we should be looking for. How's it going, Al?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, I can't believe we're already talking about spring planting. But looking at Greencast online today, and it like May 7th, our soil temperatures over the last 10 years have been like 57 degrees or better and on the
Hmm.
rise. So it's like that's it won't blink and it'll be May 7th, so we'll probably be planting end of May, but definitely it's time to start getting ready and thinking about what are you going to be planting and getting orders in and think soil tests, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, what kind of are you thinking about now? Kind of making preparations for what do we got about 2 months before then? So, kind of walk us through what you're thinking and what your preparations are.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously I've been doing this a while, so I kind of have my program down. But I mean, the frequently asked questions that I get from a lot of people right now is, hey, when should I soil test? Right. And the biggest thing about soil testing is just consistency if you're looking from a year-to-year basis. So I mean, I'm a little bit crazy about it. I use Onyx. What are some of the other ones? Hunt Stand is another app. I use waypoints on my Onyx, so I know within a field, like guys that have heard us probably talk about Stonehenge is a common one we've talked about, a field we've talked about. So if I get into Stonehenge, I got my probe, it's marked at 6 inches with a Sharpie. I look at my phone and it says, okay, this is the GPS spot. So I'm trying to take a 6 inch probe out of that same GPS location within that same 1 acre grid, if you will, every year. And then you want to take it around the same time every year. Now, if it's a brand new field, it's a brand new farm to you, whatever it might be, right? Like we had a situation last year, we sold some timber, we had a brand new field. Well, I'm not going to wait a whole nother year to sample that so there it's in line with all my other samples. I'm just going to know that there's going to probably be some variability since I took that sample. I think you actually pulled that when it was like in July, and all the other samples have been pulled in March. Well,
Sure.
biological activity, what natural weathering, soil temperature rises, et cetera, is going to have some variability there. So the biggest thing is consistency. But if you're looking to get results from a brand new field, take them, and just keep that in mind. The biggest thing, in my opinion, is get a soil probe. That's going to help a lot with the consistency. And then if you can use T-post or GPS, that helps. After getting those results, most guys in the whitetails range are going to go, my pH is super low and it's overwhelming. And the test told me I need 18 tons of lime and stuff. First take a step back. Don't look for a quick fix is my suggestion. Understand how lime works. We grew a really darn good food plot despite deer browse on a 4.8 pH soil. I've grown cover crops behind dad's houses of like 70, 75 blueberries, and we kind of do it together. It's like a fun little project. And we grew cover crops one year of our carbon load, and I had turnips probably the biggest as a softball, and the soil pH is 4.8.
Wow.
So pH impacts nutrient availability for plant uptake and things like that, and nutrient solubility, but it doesn't mean you can't grow anything. So keep that in mind, guys. You can foliar feed plants if need be in that first year, etc. So don't rush. If you can only put 500 pounds of pelletized lime down on that acre, do that. 6 months later in the fall, if you have another 400 or 500, do it again. Then next year pull a test again. You're just going to slowly creep your way up. The problem with a lot of the quick fixes is you have to kind of understand how lime works. I put a lot of videos out on YouTube, TikTok, different things like that. I try to keep them 10 minutes or less, so guys are like, oh, it's a quick snippet of information. But in order for lime to work, you really need a carbonate element or an oxygen element, so calcium carbonate, calcium oxide, something like that, so that when it splits, it can convert to either water or CO2 in the soil profile. That off gases or obviously flushes out of the system in water, and then it actually alters the pH by getting rid of that hydrogen that was acidifying the soil. If you're just putting something on there that's just calcium, that's really common misconception. That's not going to alter the pH. And if it does, it's going to be like for a very short period of time because you bump the hydrogen off, and that hydrogen is going to be free floating, and then it's going to connect right back on. So if you're looking to actually make a difference in soil structure and stuff, look for calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, and check me out on or shoot me a message if you're interested in which one you should be choosing based on your soil test. So that's a really, really common thing right now is liming. And then from that is kind of when to plant. So, we're planting our spring mix. We want our soil temps to be 55 or better on the rise. If it's the first day that soil temps hit 55, but the forecast isn't looking good, don't plant, in my opinion. If you're seeing that it's the soil temps 55 in the next 10 days, you got days in the 80s, I like to plant. I think you can, there's a lot of science behind it, but I think you can get a good jump start on a lot of the other weed species and things like that that are going to want to be germinating, and you can get that in the ground early. But you don't have to. You certainly could plant, when temperatures get up to 60. Our mix this year has a few changes, but nothing major. We did add Sudan grass, which I'm really excited about. It's like sorghum Sudan. We had sorghum in there previously. Sudan works really nice because it's super drought tolerant. It allows for the beans and peas in lab to climb it. It's really, really, really good at breaking up compaction, and it's not a browsable species by deer. Which is really good because one, at Vitalize Seed, we don't just sell to food plotters, we sell to farmers. I mean, sometimes some of the farmers we've worked with that are kind of specialty, like horticulture or flower farms, well, they're planting a summertime cover crop because then in the fall they're planting their bulbs or whatever might be going into that, say it's a garlic bed or something like that. So they want that summertime cover crop. So Sudan is something that's really, really good from a root structure perspective, but also you don't want all of your food walking off the field. Like if you just plant soybeans in a really high deer density, like something you and I are used to hunting, you could run out of soybeans, especially if you're only planting, say, an acre or two.
Oh yeah.
So in this case, it gives you more structure. Some guys are probably going to even leave it stand. It's going to break up subsoil compaction. It's going to grab a lot of your nitrate and stuff. It's going to add as a good structure when it lays over when you plant your fall mix as a weed suppressant, and then of course slow release fertilizer as it breaks down. So I'm really, really excited about adding that. And then of course we've added a few other products, in that being two main ones that I'm excited about. So all of our mixes come with Seed Armor Plus, we call it. It's inoculant. So if anybody who's planted a legume, you probably are familiar with it, but not all soils have all the right bacteria that legumes need to fix atmospheric nitrogen. So sometimes guys will say, I had to plant that legume 3 or 4 times before I started seeing nodules. Not that that's horrible, but it's like, why not use an insurance policy? So we include that in the bag of seed. It's actually broad spectrum. So the one problem with a lot of inoculants, which always drove me nuts, is if I'm planting a monoculture bean, it's easy as heck. You go out and get a bean inoculant. But now if you're planting a bean, pea, and hemp, those are different strands of bacteria. So you have to either buy different ones, blend it yourself. So we actually were able, after years of searching, to get a broad spectrum. It covers all legumes from an inoculant perspective, I'm really excited about that. It's in the bag. It comes with the purchase of seed, and it also has a humics element to it. Humic is a natural occurring substance. Guys would call it a long chain carbon substance. It's basically going to help with germination, nutrient retention. And again, it goes right around that seed. So it just helps the seed get off to a good start. And then we added our fish fertilizer plus humics. So basically all of our products are going to have humics in it. That does not come free. That is a charge. But that's for guys who are wanting to do foliar treatments, whether it be gardens, farms, food plots, etc. It doesn't take a lot. You're 4 to 6 ounces per gallon of water. So a single gallon is going to cover up to a couple of acres. Everything on our website is free shipping on that. Fish fertilizer is really, really an impressive substance. The reason being is, one, it's naturally occurring. So you get your natural NPK. You also get a lot of organic forms of that. And you also get microbial stimulation. So guys are probably going to use it in 2 ways. One, directly onto the plant to feed the plant. Quick tip on that is whether you're spraying herbicide or foliar feeding, and whether it's this product or somebody else's, don't spray it in the middle of the day. Plant have what's called the stomata. It closes up. It's not going to want to absorb that nutrients, which sometimes is a little counterintuitive. People think like, oh, it's the heat of the day, it's going to suck that up. But it really doesn't do it as well. You're not going to get as good of a kill off or absorption of foliar in the case of fertilizer. So One, you can spray it as a foliar early morning, late evening, best time to apply a foliar. The other option is also to spray as a biological stimulant. So let's say you had a big corn crop and now you're going to go into our nitro boost and you have all this heavy corn residue, but you don't want to use tillage or a no-till system. At the time of planting, you could apply that fish fertilizer. It's going to help to break down that corn residue because it's going to stimulate biology in the soil, your fungi, your bacteria, etc. It's going to help to recycle that because it has so many organic nutrients, has a little bit of nitrogen, etc. It's going to help stimulate that. So it's also really neat that way to kind of kickstart a program and kickstart that nutrient cycling.
Well, guys, this is why we use Vitalize Seed. He makes it easy for the regular guys like us. Al does all the research and the field testing and everything else, and we reap the benefits. But we just scratch the surface here. So make sure you take some time, check out his YouTube channel, check out his socials, check out his TikTok. He goes into detail of all the things that he kind of just scratched the surface on. But tell everybody where we can find you, Al, where we can order your products, and anything else we might have missed.
Yeah, thanks so much. Well, I think we're up to 32. I hope I didn't misspeak, something like that. 32, 35 distributors throughout the Midwest and well, all the way almost to Eastern Pennsylvania. So basically from Eastern Pennsylvania to trying to think where our furthest distributor is now, Iowa, I think. So basically in that whole area, we have distributors. We offer online at vitalizeseed.com, free shipping to your door. Everything on our website is free shipping. Our distributors are all over. You can contact them. And Vitalize Seed Instagram, Vitalize Seed Facebook, TikTok, etc. If you type in Vitalize Seed YouTube, you should find us, and feel free to reach out anytime.
Appreciate it, Al. Look forward to getting some habitat work done with you soon, and we'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.